Hello, trainers! Today we are embarking on an epic quest to be the very best, like no one ever was. My ultimate goal is to complete every major Pokémon game to its fullest. We are kicking off this journey with a Generation 6 game, Pokémon Y. From building a living Pokédex and battling every trainer, to conquering the Battle Chateau and collecting every TM, there's a ton of work ahead. And to make it even more exciting, we'll be tackling popular Pokémon challenges along the way. While you will see me making progress towards some other goals, I want to clarify that certain tasks, like completing a living dex or collecting every item in the game, are not part of the challenge itself. Before we dive in, here are some self-imposed rules I'll be following for this particular playthrough. No game speed-ups are allowed, date and time adjustments are permitted if necessary. I'll be playing the game using a combination of a Nintendo 3DS XL and Citra Emulator, and I must own an original copy of the game. As you might have noticed, English isn't my native language, so I appreciate your patience with my pronunciation. Trainers, without further ado, let's begin this adventure. We are off to Aquacourt to meet our new companions. Barely a minute in, and they are already suggesting funny nicknames for us. Naturally, we chose Lady Y because, of course, we deserve to be treated like royalty. Afterward, we select our first Pokémon, Fennekin, and immediately dive into our first battle against one of our friends. Victorious, we head straight to the Pokémart to spend all of our money on Pokéballs, because, let's face it, we are going to need plenty of them. With preparations complete, we bid farewell to Mom one last time and set out to catch our very first Pokémon. The adventure truly kicks off on Route 2, where we build a growing team by catching 3 Pidgey, 3 Fletchling, 3 Scatterbug, 2 Bunnelby, and 2 Zigzagoon. Along the way, we are treated to a tutorial on how to catch Pokémon, despite already doing it 13 times before. Next, we venture into Santalune Forest, where the catching spree continues. Here, we add 3 Caterpie, 2 Pansage, 2 Weedle, 2 Pampor, 2 Pansear, and 2 Pikachu, one of them female, to our collection. For now, we move on to Route 3, but the Pokédex grind shows no sign of slowing down. On this route, we capture a Dunsparce, 3 Azurill, and 2 Burmy, one of each gender. As soon as we arrive in Santalune City, we grab every item and we receive roller skates in front of the gym after beating this trainer. Also, we battle every trainer, something we will do every part of this challenge. Unfortunately, all this catching comes at a cost. We run out of Pokéballs. With no other choice, I've grabbed every item and sold everything I could find to stock up. With our new batch of Pokéballs, we head east to Route 22, where we add 2 Lidleo, 2 Psyduck, and 2 Riolu to our growing collection. To top it off, we make a quick trade, one of our many Bunnelby, for a Farfetch called Quaklin. With so many Pokémon at our disposal, it's time to grind for evolutions on Route 22. Our hard work pays off as Weedle evolves into Kakuna, Fennekin transforms into Braixen, and Kakuna takes its final form as Vidri. Meanwhile, Caterpie evolves into Metapod, and then quickly into Butterfree. As part of this pre-batch grind, our trusty Zigzagoon and Bunnelby have been grabbing items thanks to their pickup ability, giving us a steady stream of goodies to sell, because, let's be honest, we'll need even more Pokéballs soon. Later, Scatterbug evolves into a Spewpa, and, with a bit more grinding, reaches its final form as Vivillon. After that, realizing that some evolutions are going to take quite a while, I decide it's time to take full advantage of all the in-game mechanics to make things easier. To do that, I've transferred the save file to my 3DS and dive into Pokémon Ami minigames. This allowed me to boost my Pokémon's affection, giving them an experience boost in every battle. Additionally, I invested time in the super training mechanic because we needed some evolution stones. After several hours, I finally gathered enough stones to evolve some team members. Pikachu into Raichu with a Thunderstone, Pansage into Simisage with a Leaf Stone, and Pampor into Simipour with a Water Stone. Two Azurill evolve into Meryl, after maxing their friendship stats, thanks to being on our team while we've been doing all the grinding. The same goes for Riolu, who evolve into Lucario. Also, let me introduce Lynun and Diggersby, two crucial pieces of this puzzle. At level 21, both can start collecting rare candies, which is going to be a huge help for our progress. With that, Meryl evolves into a Azumarill, a female Burmy into Wormadam, and a male Burmy into Mothim. Just look at all the rare candies we've gathered so far. Later on, Litleo evolved into Pyroar, Psyduck into Golduck, and Braixen into Delphox. One particularly useful mechanic in this generation is the ability to receive an experience boost after every battle if we stop Pokémon from evolving. I forgot to take advantage of it with my starter, but it proved incredibly helpful for 3-stage evolutions like Fletchling into Fletchinder and then Talonflame, as well as Pidgey into Pidgeotto and then Pidgeot. After finishing this first part of the challenge, take a look at all the items we've collected using the pickup ability. Nearly 37 hours have been spent on this quest, as you can see. Now it's time to start earning some medals. Meet Viola, the Santalon gym leader and the first victim of our massively over-leveled Pokémon. After defeating her, we earned the Bug Badge. Following that, we spoke to her sister and received the XP share, one of the most useful tools in this challenge, as in this generation it works for every team member simultaneously. On Route 4, we resume our catching spree, starting with 2 Combi, one of them female, 2 Lediva, 2 Skitty, 3 Flabébé, a Badoo, and 4 Ralts, one of them male. After collecting all the available items on this route, we headed north to Lumiose City. There, we made our way to Professor Sycamore's lab, where we battled him. As a reward, he gifted us a Bulbasaur and sent us on a quest to research Mega Evolutions. In the same lab, we also received one of the most important TMs for this challenge, False Swipe. We then had our first encounter with Lysandra, who totally doesn't look suspicious at all. After enduring 2 conversations with him, and being constantly interrupted by our neighbors, we finally set out for Route 5. But, of course, we were interrupted again, this time by a Lucario and its trainer, Corrina. If there is a constant in this game, it's the relentless interruptions by NPCs. It's charming at first, but it definitely gets annoying after a while. There's a lot of Pokémon to catch in this section of the challenge. On Route 4, we caught 2 Scraggy, 2 Gulpin, a Forfro, 3 Abra, 2 Skido, 2 Pancham, 2 Doduo, and both Minun and Plasal during a Horde encounter. During this time, Lediva evolved into Ledian. We continued onward, collecting all the items along the way, and faced a challenge from one of our friends, who, unsurprisingly, didn't stand a chance against us. Eventually, we arrived at Camphrier Town, where we grabbed all the items and gathered more information about Mega Evolution at Chabonneau Castle. Of course, our progress was interrupted again, and we were pointed toward Route 6. Here, we somehow acquired our first piece of real estate at just 10 years old. On a very sturdy bridge, we were informed that we needed to retrieve a Pokéflute to wake up the Snorlax blocking our path. Next, we made our way to Route 6 and began catching Pokémon. 4 Oddish, 3 Honedge, a Kecleon, 3 Venipede, 2 Sentret, 2 Nincada, and 2 Espurr. During this part, Abra evolved into Kadabra, Combi into Vespiquen, as you can see in the bottom right corner of box 2, and Flabébé evolved into Floette. Finally, we caught Audino, the last Pokémon on this route, and proceeded to Parfum Palace. Once there, we paid the entrance fee and met the palace owner, who was completely panicked because he had lost his Furfrou. Naturally, we set out to find it. After successfully tracking it down, we watched the fireworks show with Shona and finally received the Pokéflute. After stocking up a bunch of Super Balls, we proceeded to wake up the Snorlax and caught it. It had to be female, by the way. With the Snorlax out of the way, Route 7 was finally open for exploration, but first we were introduced to the daycare facility, an incredibly important place for this challenge. Of course, we start putting it to good use immediately. On Route 7, we began catching Pokémon again. Smeargle, Chu Roselia, Volbeat, Illumise, Chu Ducklet, Chu Spritzy, Chu Croagong, and 3 Hoppip. Meanwhile, Sentret evolved into Furret. Next, we were introduced to another key location for the challenge, the Battle Chateau. This place will be a game changer, especially later on, as we'll spend a lot of time here to make the grinding parts easier. For now, we received the title of Baroness. Moving on, we were challenged by 2 of our friends before arriving at Connecting Cave. Inside, we caught 3 Zubat, 2 Meditite, 3 Whismur, and 3 Axew. Additionally, we evolved Oddish into Gloom and Gulping into Swalot and hatched our first egg, a Pichu. On the other side of the cave, we arrived at Route 8, where Professor Sycamore's assistants upgraded our Pokédex. We immediately got back to catching Pokémon, adding 2 Wingull, 3 Bagon, an Absol, 2 Drifloon, a Seviper, 2 Spoink, 2 Mienfoo, and 2 Inkay to our collection. Catching Zangoose was particularly tricky, since we had to take out the Sevipers first before they could defeat it. A nice mechanic though. We also caught 2 Talos during horde encounters, which took quite a while to find. During this section, Zubat evolved into Golbat, and Ralts evolved into Kirlia. As a quick reminder, I am also working on a parallel living dex alongside this challenge, which isn't part of the Professor Oak challenge itself. After catching everything, we picked up all the available items, battled every trainer, and headed south to Umbred Town. Once there, we made sure to grab every item in sight, including the Old Rod, a tool that finally allows us to start fishing for Pokémon. The story takes us to Round 9, where we catch 3 Sandile, 2 Helioptile, and 2 Hippopotas. As always, we grab every item and battle every trainer along the way. Once inside Glittering Cave, we catch 3 Machop, 2 Cubone, and a Solrock. Here we encounter Team Flare, who are trying to snatch fossil Pokémon to sell for profit. After defeating all of them, we speak with the scientist and receive the sale fossil. Before returning to Umbred Town, we take advantage of the Rock Smash mechanic to find an Onix, 2 Dwebble, and an old Amber fossil. On our way back, we also caught a Lunaton, Kangaskhan, Mawile, and 3 Rhyhorn. Another interesting mechanic in this game is ambush encounters. In Glittering Cave, we can use this feature to catch 2 Ferroseed and 2 Woobat. Back at the lab, we revived our fossils, obtaining an Amaura and an Aerodactyl. From there, we headed north to the lower part of Route 8, where we received a dowsing machine from a helpful NPC. In this area, we fished up 2 Luffdisc and found 2 Binnacle using Rock Smash. After that, we arrived at our next destination, Silash City. Here, we collected all the available items, including the HM for Strength, which we received from Gym Leader Grant. We also picked up a bike from a nearby shop and made an exciting trade, one of our Luffdisc for my favorite Pokémon, Steelix. Before diving into more grinding, we ventured to another route with plenty of new Pokémon to catch. On Route 10, we added 2 Snowball, 2 Electrike, 9 Eevee, one of them female, a Sigilyph, 2 Golett, a Hawlucha, 2 Yanma, 2 Nosepass from Horde Encounters, and an Emolga to our collection. During this time, Honedge evolved into Doublade. At this point, I decided to revisit previous routes, defeating all the remaining trainers and using O powers along with the Amulet coin to amass money. During this process, our Golbat evolved into Crobat. Eventually, we returned to Route 22 to fish for 2 Magikarp. Afterward, we headed back to the Battle Chateau and evolved Gloom into Vileplume and Skitty into Delcatty, using their respective evolution stones. At nearly 50 hours into the game, we are about to embark on the longest grinding session of the challenge. This will involve spending a significant amount of money on Reeds of Invitation, particularly the Silver Reed, to battle trainer repeatedly. Through this process, we will also rise to the rank of Duchess. With that explained, get ready for a massive list of evolutions. Kirlia evolved into Gardevoir, Snubbull into Granbull, Skiddo into Gogoat, Doduo into Dodrio, Espurr into Meowstic, Croagunk into Toxicroak, Rhyhorn to Rhydon, Drifloon to Driflim, Axew to Fracture, Ducklet to Swanna, Ferroseed into Ferrothorn, Fracture into Haxorus, Electrike into Manectric, Spoink into Grumpig, Whismur into Loudred, Loudred into Exploud, Taillow into Swallow, Golett into Golurk, Machop into Machoke, Dwebble into Crustle, Cubone into Marowak, Meditite into Medicham, Hippopotas to Hippowdon, Benipede into Whirlipede, and Whirlipede into Scolipede. We also evolve Eevee into Umbreon by maximizing its friendship at night, Hoppip into Skiploom, then into Jumpluff, Pancham into Pangoro, Scraggy into Scrafty, Magikarp to Gyarados, Sandile into Krokorok, then into Crocodile, Yanma into Yanmega, Mienfoo into Mienshao, and Binacle into Barbaracle. Next, let's cover Pokémon that needed Evolution Stones, some of which are only available through Super Training. Floette evolved into Florges, and Roselia into Roserade with a Shiny Stone. Doublette evolved into Aegislash with a Dusk Stone. A male Kirlia became Gallade with a Dawnstone. Gloom evolved into Velosom, and Helioptile into Heliolisk with a Sunstone. Eevee evolved into Vaporeon with a Waterstone. Jolteon with a Thunderstone, and Flareon with a Firestone. Moving forward, another Eevee evolved into Espeon by maximizing its friendship during the day. Bulbasaur evolved into Ivysaur, then into Venusaur. Woobat evolved into Swoobat, Bagon into Shelgon, then into Salamence. Nincada evolved into Ninjas, granting us Shedinja as well. Amaura evolved into Aurorus, Eevee into Sylveon, and Inkay into Malamar. Finally, we completed trade evolutions. Machop became Machamp, Kadabra turned into Alakazam, and Spritzee evolved into Aromatisse. That was exhausting. Look at the time. We are now 66 hours into the challenge. We finally face off against Gym Leader Grant, and we defeat him easily, just like every other trainer in this game. With the clip badge on our hands, we headed to Route 10, where we encountered Team Flare, battled them, and proceeded to Geosenge Town. Here, we collect all the available items and battle Corrina before continuing to Route 11, where we resume our catching spree. After teaching False Swipe to our new catching specialist, Haxorus, we get to work with Throw, choose Staravia, Starly in a Horde encounter, choose Tanky, a female Hariyama, Nidoran female, Deden, 2 Chingling, Nidoran male, 2 Nidorina, and 2 Nidorino. Before moving forward, we make sure to gather all items and defeat all trainers in this area. Next, we enter Reflection Cave, where the catching continues with 3 Solosis, Sableye, 3 Roggenrola, Mr. Mime, Mime Jr. in a Horde encounter, Garbink, and a female Wobbuffet. As usual, we grab every item and defeat all the trainers along the way. During this process, Roggenrola evolves into Boldor. Finally, we arrive at Shallour City, ready for the next steps of the journey. Our friends point us toward the Tower of Mastery, but before heading there, we take the time to gather every item in Shallour City. Once at the tower, we learn more about Mega Evolutions. Our rival challenges us, but we easily defeat him and are rewarded with the Mega Bracelet, allowing us to use Mega Evolutions. It's amusing how the game jumps from we don't know anything about Mega Evolutions to let's Mega Evolve Pokémon so quickly. On Route 12, we focus on catching the final batch of Pokémon before starting our next grind. Tauros, 2 Execute, Chatot, 3 Marip in Horde encounters, Miltank, Heracross, 3 Slowpoke, and Pachirisu, which took quite some time to find. During this process, Staravia evolves into Staraptor. After completing this part of the challenge, we head back to the Battle Chateau, where we receive a pleasant surprise. We are granted the title of Grand Duchess. This new rank allows us to battle high-level trainers using the Black Reed of Challenge. We put this reed to good use, and while battling, we achieve several evolutions. Stanky evolves into Skuntank, Slowpoke evolves into Slowbro, Solosis evolves into Duosion and later into Reuniclus. Also, Nidorina evolves into Nidoqueen and Nidorino evolves into Nidoking using Moonstones obtained via Linoon's pickup ability. Execute evolves into Executor with a Leafstone. Mareep evolves into Fluffy and then into Ampharos. We also hatch an egg containing a Makuhita. Finally, we complete several trade evolutions. A Slowbro is traded while holding a King's Rock, evolving into Slowking. Thanks again to Linoon's pickup ability for providing the item. Also, Boldor evolves into Gigalith. To top it off, Chingling evolves into Kaimeko. As you can see, things are going faster. Without wasting any time, we head straight to the Shallow Gym to take on Corrina. After defeating her, we earn the Rumble Badge. Following our victory, we return to the Tower of Mastery, where we battle her once again, this time using Mega Lucario. Before heading back to Route 12, our rival gives us HM Surf, which unlocks access to a variety of new Pokémon. On Route 12, an NPC generously gives us a Lapras, adding a classic companion to our team. While exploring, we catch 2 Tentacool and collect all the items in the area. Upon reaching Coumarin City, we continue to gather every available item. Here, we are once again challenged by our rival. We are also given the Good Rod, which will significantly improve our fishing effort. At the station, we meet Professor Sycamore and Diantha, who reward us with HM Fly, though we can't use it just yet. Heading to the upper part of the city, we proceed to Route 13, where we begin our catching spree. 3 Trapinch, a female Dactrio, 2 Slugma using Rock Smash, 3 Gible, and 2 Graveler, 1 female, also found by Rock Smash. Route 13 proves to be one of the most frustrating areas in the game. The mechanics here, especially the wind direction, make navigating and collecting items incredibly tedious. Despite the annoyance, we persist and ensure no item is left behind. With Surf and the Good Rod now available, we backtrack to catch all the Pokémon we previously couldn't access. On Route 12, we surf to catch 2 Remoraid, which quickly evolve into Octillery. In Shallow City, surfing allows us to find 2 Mantike, while fishing with the Good Rod lets us reel in 2 Chinchou and 3 Clampero. At Silage City, we fish for 3 Horsey and 2 Skrelp. Since we don't yet have access to fly, we use our bike and take various shortcuts to revisit earlier routes. On Route 8, we fish for 2 Shelder and surf to find 2 Whalmer. On Route 22, we fish for 2 Carvana and 2 Goldeen. Finally, on Route 2, fishing yields 2 Corphish and surfing lets us encounter a female Masquerain. After a quick wardrobe change, we return to our beloved Battle Chateau to continue battling and evolving Pokémon. Gible evolves into Gabite, then Gabite into Garchomp. Horsey evolves into Seadra. And in a testament to its hard work, our Linoon reaches level 100, the undisputed MVP of this challenge. The evolution spree continues. Slugma evolves into Magcargo, and Trapinch evolves into Vibrava, then further into Flygon. We pause briefly to focus on breeding, yielding Geodude, Diglett, Munchlax, Wynaut, and Surskit. Back to evolving, Chinchou evolves into Lanturn, Whalmer into Wailord, Goldeen into Seeking, Mantike into Mantine, Carvana into Sharpedo, Corphish into Crawdon, and Skrelp into Dragalge. Using a Waterstone, we evolve Shelder into Cloyster. Next, we handle the trade evolutions. Graveler evolves into Golem, and Clamperl evolves into Huntail with a Deep Sea Tooth, and into Gorebyss with the Deep Sea Scale. Lastly, we revisit Route 13 to evolve Nosepass into Probopass. Before facing the next gym leader, we take a detour to teach our rival another lesson. With that out of the way, we battle Gym Leader Ramos, earning the plant badge. Afterward, we head back to Route 13 to save the power plant from Team Flare, battling grunts non-stop to restore order. On our way to Lumiose City, we encounter a strange man whose purpose remains unclear. Moving forward, the city is now fully powered, making it entirely explorable. We take on Gym Leader Clemon, defeating him with ease and earning the Voltage badge. After the gym battle, we meet Lysandre and Professor Sycamore again, and our friend points us back to Route 14 for our next adventure. Before proceeding, our rival challenges us yet again, seemingly addicted to the sting of defeat. Unsurprisingly, we make quick work of their team and move on to resume catching Pokémon. Bellsprout, Carnivine, 2 Skorupi, 2 Weepinbell, 3 Gumi, 2 Shelmet, 2 Haunter, 1 female, 2 Carrablast, a female Quagsire, Stunfisk, 2 Barboach, 3 Poliwhirl, fishing with the Wood Rod, and a Poliwag, fished with the Old Rod. We defeat every trainer and collect every item in the area before arriving at a mysterious haunted house. Why are we here again? After some dialogue, we eventually find and catch 2 Ekans in Horde encounters, which took quite some time to appear. Once we reach Laver City, we gather all the items and fish a Basculin in the nearby river. Then, it's time to evolve. Poliwhirl evolves into Poliwrath using a Water Stone. Weepinbell evolves into Victreebel with a Leaf Stone. We return to the Battle Chateau where the evolution spree continues. Ekans evolves into Arbok, Barboach into Whiscash, Gumi into Sliggoo, and Skorupi into Drapion. We also hatch eggs to obtain Gastly and Wooper. Finally, Sliggoo evolves into Goodra. Next, we handle the trait evolutions. Haunter evolves into Gengar, Poliwhirl into Politoed, Shelmet into Axelgor, and Carrablast into Escavalier. With all these evolutions complete, we challenge Gym Leader Valerie and earn the Fairy Badge. As usual, we meticulously grab every item and defeat every Grand, freeing the factory in the process. Our efforts are rewarded with a Master Ball, which we'll save for a very special Pokémon in the future. Our friends point us toward Dandemil Town, because apparently the map says so. Naturally, we comply and set off, but there's plenty of work to do along the way. On Route 15, we expand our collection by catching Klefki, a female Wedgehog, 2 Fungus, a female Liepard, 2 Murkrow in Horde encounters, and 2 Ponyard. We also surf to find a female Floatzel and 2 Lombre, one of them female. During this time, Fungus evolves into Amoonguss. As always, we scour the route for every item and take down all the trainers we encounter. Between Route 15 and Route 16, we gain access to the Lost Hotel, where even more Pokémon await. 2 Magneton, 3 Litwick, and Electrode. While exploring this strange place, we met the self-proclaimed boss, an old man who runs a gang of skaters. Seems harmless enough, definitely not a sketchy Kalos version of Heisenberg. After looting all the items and defeating all the trainers, we detour to Route 16. Here we battle trainers and catch 2 Pumpkaboo and 2 Phantom. During this time, Litwick evolves into Lampent, and Ponyard evolves into Bisharp. At the end of the route, we are rewarded with the Super Rod, which will come in handy later. After returning to Dandemil Town, we head straight to Frost Cavern, where something suspicious is afoot. While investigating, we catch Jinx, Beartic, 2 Piloswine, 1 female, 2 Bergmite, Cryogonal, Capchu, 3 Vanillite, and a very elusive Smochum from a Horde encounter. In the meantime, Bergmite evolves into Avalok, and we take the opportunity to evolve another Eevee into Glaceon in the frosty environment. At the end of the cavern, we confront Team Flare, who are once again causing trouble, this time bullying an Abomasnow. Naturally, we defeat them and bring peace to the area. With the crisis averted, we proceeded to Route 17, riding a Mamoswine to navigate the snowy terrain and grab items. Along the way, we catch 2 Snowbird, 2 Sneasel, and a Delibird. Eventually, we arrive at Anistar City, where we promptly resume our favorite activity, picking up every item in sight, and also defeating our rival. Men, learn your lesson already. After this battle, Snowbird evolves to Abomasnow. Before diving back into grinding, we return to Silage City to fish for Relicanth and Quillfish using our Super Rod. On Route 12, we do the same to catch a Corsola, and in Shallow City, we find an Alomomola. Back to training, Vanillite evolves into Vanillish and then into Vanillux. However, I realize I've missed 2 Pokémon. Rotom, which can be found in trash cans on Tuesday in the Lost Hotel, and a female Travish, also hiding in trash cans on other days. After this brief detour, we continue evolving and hatching Pokémon. Magneton evolves into Magnezone on Route 13, Lombre evolves into Ludicolo using a Water Stone, Piloswine evolves into Mamoswine after relearning the move Ancient Power, and Travish evolves into Garbodor. We also hatch the following Pokémon: Swinub, Weasel, Purloin, Patrat, and Lotad. After earning 2 Dusk Stones through Super Training, we evolve Markrow into Hunchcrow and Lampen into Chandelure. Next, we complete several trait evolutions. Punkabu evolves into Burgeist, Phantom evolves into Trevenant, and Rhydon evolves into Rhyperior. With all this stage complete, we challenge Gym Leader Olympia, defeat her with ease, and receive the Psychic Badge. We are now in the final stretch of the challenge, but before moving forward, we must deal, once and for all, with Team Flare. First, it's revealed that Lysandre is the mastermind behind everything. We head to his cafe, where a secret door guarded by a trainer leads us into his lair. Behind the door, we confront Lysandre for the first time. After defeating him, we explore the lab, battling countless grunts and admins along the way. During this intense sequence, we uncover the story of the region. Things take a dire turn when Geosen's town is devastated by a hidden ultimate weapon. Determined to stop him, we rush to Geosen's with our friends, where we battle Lysandre once again. After several grueling double battles, we discover the ultimate weapon's power source, the legendary Yveltal. Battling through more grunts, we finally have the chance to catch the legendary Pokémon. However, Lysandre isn't done yet. In a climactic showdown, we face Lysandre in a final battle. With his defeat, we destroy the ultimate weapon, putting an end to Team Flare for good. This section of the game is incredibly long and can become frustrating in challenges like this, especially since we don't have any Pokémon to evolve. After avoiding Doomsday, we head to Anistar City, and then to Route 18. Here we catch Chugurdur, Duran, Sandslash, Torkoal, Pupitar, Hitmore, and Shackle using Rock Smash. Afterward, we battle every trainer, collect every item, and do the same in Koriway Town. Then, we face none other than Professor Sycamore. Next, we fully explore Terminus Cave, completing it top to bottom, except for the final chamber. During this exploration, we catch 2 Noibat and an Ariados. Along the way, our Pupitar evolves into Tyranitar. Moving on to Route 19, we catch 2 Gligar, and our Noibat evolves into Noivern. Before reaching the next city, we are challenged by all of our friends in a series of battles. After defeating them one by one, we are rewarded with a Gem Waterfall. Finally, we arrived at Snowbell City. After grabbing all the items and updating our outfit, we head to Route 20 to find the gym leader. While exploring, we catch Zoroark, 3 Jigglypuff, Nactowl, and Gothorita. Following our usual route of battling trainers and collecting items, we spend some time catching Sudowoodo. During this phase, we evolve Gothorita into Gothitelle, catch a Ditto and Banette, and trade Jigglypuff for a Bisharp. On Route 21, we expand our collection by catching Ursaring, 2 Scyther, Altaria, Spinda, 2 Dragonair, and Swablu. While battling the trainers in this area, our Dragonair evolves into Dragonite. Additionally, we use a Moonstone to evolve Jigglypuff into Wigglytuff. Next, it's time to focus on breeding a variety of Pokémon using our newly cocked Ditto. We get Sansryu, Dratini, Igglybuff, Gothita, Teddiursa, Hoothoot, Zorua, Shuppet, Timburr, Magnemite, Voltorb, Spinarak, Bonsly, and Larvitar. To wrap up this stage of the challenge, we handle the trait evolutions. Timburr evolves into Conkeldurr, Scyther evolves into Scizor, and Seadra evolves into Kingdra. Lastly, we evolve our final Eevee into Leafeon on Route 20. We finally arrive at the last gym, and battle Gym Leader Ulfric so we can receive the Ice Badge. With all the badges collected, we headed straight to Victory Road at the end of Route 21, battling the guard at the entrance. Once inside Victory Road, we caught a Druddigon, 2 Zuilus, and 2 Lickitung. Midway through, we were challenged by our rival for the final time. Thanks to this battle, one of our Zuilus evolved into Hydreigon. Additionally, our Haxorus reached level 100, cementing its position as the second MVP of this challenge. With every item collected and every trainer defeated, our only remaining task in this area was to find Skarmory and Fearow, both which appear through ambush encounters. Before entering the Elite Four, we evolved Lickitung into Lickilicky by relearning Rollout, and hatched 2 eggs, Deino and Spearow. Finally, it's time to enter the Pokémon League. One by one, we defeated Drasna, Seabolt, Vikstrom, Malva, and ultimately championed Diantha. Then we were crowned the champions of the Kalos League and celebrated with a grand parade in the capital held in our honor. During the festivities, we faced AZ in an emotional battle. After his defeat, AZ found redemption in true Naruto style and was reunited with his long-lost Pokémon friend, bringing a heartfelt close to the story. As the credits rolled, we awoke back home, ready to push forward to the final grind of this incredible challenge. Our journey is far from over. First, we trade with Shona to get a chess pin. With that, we head to the deepest chamber of Terminus Cave to capture the legendary Zygarde. From there, we set off to the Pokémon village to catch the mighty Mewtwo. Next, we focus on fossils. In Glittering Cave, we smash rocks like there's no tomorrow, eventually collecting all the remaining fossils. We revive 2 of each, adding 2 Omanite, 2 Kabuto, 2 Shieldon, 2 Cranidos, 2 Tirtuga, and 2 Archen to our rooster. The next step? Evolution. We return to the Battle Chateau where our Chespin evolves into Killadin and then Chestnut in no time. Cranidos evolves into Rampardos soon after. Outside the Battle Chateau, something unexpected happens. We accidentally trigger the Zapdos event. To catch it, we need to encounter it 11 more times. Meanwhile, we focus on evolving our fossil Pokémon. Shieldon becomes Bastiodon, Omanite evolves into Omastar, Kabuto into Kabutops, Archen into Archeops, and Tirtuga into Carracosta. After completing these evolutions, we head to Kilout City to grab all the items there. Before tackling the Battle Maison, we decide to hunt down Zapdos. Using the method I am showing to track it down repeatedly, we encounter it 11 more times, and then make our final meeting at Sea Spirit's Den, north of Azure Bay. We use the Master Ball to ensure its capture. For the final 2 Pokémon, we need to earn battle points at the Battle Maison. I opt for double battles, grinding until I can afford the Razor Claw and Razor Fang. With these items, Gligar evolves into Gliscor, and Sneasel evolves into Weavile, completing our Pokémon Rooster and ending this challenge. What an adventure! After more than 100 hours of gameplay, we finished this incredible challenge. This journey pushed me to use every tool that the game offers, making the experience very fun and rewarding. I know I made some mistakes along the way, but I'm proud of what I achieved and very excited to try something similar in other Pokémon generations. I hope you will join me on the next one. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated with all my latest content. Keep training, take care.